Good afternoon, my name is Andi Ginting and master ID number is 44130106. Today I will read the results of Writing Task 1 and Writing Task 2. Writing Task 1. The bar chart illustrates the percentage of males and females in various age groups in the UK who consume 5 or more percent of fruits and vegetables per day in 2006, in line with the World Health Organization recommendations. Overall, women generally consume more fruit and vegetables than men. Across nearly all age groups, the highest percentage of consumption for both genders was observed among those aged 55 to 64, while the lowest was in the 19 to 24 age group. In detail, around 35% of females aged 55 to 64 met the recommended intake, compared to about 30% of males in the same group. Younger age group saw significantly lower compliance, with only about 15% of men and slightly under 20% of women, as aged 19 to 24 meeting the guideline. Among the oldest group, those aged 75 and over, the figures declined slightly, with roughly 25% of women and 20% of men consuming the recommended portions. In conclusion, the chart highlights a positive correlation between age and healthy eating habits, with older individuals being more likely to follow dietary recommendations and women outperforming men in every age group. Rating that's true. Some experts argue that once a country has reached a certain level of economic prosperity, further increase in wealth do not significantly improve the happiness or satisfaction of the citizen. I agree with this viewpoint, though I believe there are some nuances worth considering. In wealthy nations where basic needs such as food, healthcare, education, and housing are already met, the marginal utility of additional income tends to decline. For example, in countries like Norway or Japan, further economic growth often results in greater material abundance, but not necessarily greater well-being. People may earn more money, but the gains are often offset by longer working hours, increased stress, and greater social inequality. Numerous studies have shown that after reaching a certain income, their whole happiness level tend to plateau, suggesting that non-economic factors such as social relationship, work-life balance, and mental health become more influential in determining life satisfactions. However, it would be simplistic to assume that additionally will brings no benefits at all. Even in rich countries, target investment in public service, technology innovation, or environmental sustainability funded by economic growth can enhance quality of life and in substantial ways. For instance, improve public transport, cleaner cities, and better healthcare facilities can all be outcomes of continued economic development. Moreover, higher national income can provide a cushion against future economic shocks, support gain populations, and increase countries' global influence, indirectly benefiting citizens across generations. In conclusions, while I agree that beyond a certain point, wealth does not significantly increase individual happiness, it can still offer broader societal advantage. Therefore, the focus for wealthy nations should shift from merely increasing GDP to enhancing overall well-being through sustainable, inclusive, and equitable development that priorities quality of life over mere financial gain.